Hello to Mia's Nation and welcome to Mia's Cuisine, where there's always something exciting happening on a daily basis. Today I will be cooking bitter leaf soup with egusi. So here's my egusi. Egusi comes from Cameroon. The one I have is actually blended, but when you get it unblended, you can always use the coffee blender. I have some chopped fresh tomatoes. I have some tripe, red meat, and smoked fish. And this is my bitter leaf. It comes dried from Cameroon, so you have to soak it overnight and wash and drain the water the next morning. And you also need some crayfish, some onion to fry the tomato, maggi, and salt. First, you put some oil in the pot. It doesn't matter what oil you use, whatever is your preference, and put in your onions. Then put in my fresh tomato, scoop of maggi, pinch of salt, stir. You allow the tomatoes to cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. You can either leave it open or cover it, it doesn't matter, to cook, and you stir as you go along to prevent it from sticking underneath the pot. Our tomatoes still have about 5 minutes to go in order to remove the sour taste. Sometimes you can do without the tomatoes. If you have it, you use it. If you don't have it, you just put in your onion and you put in your egusi. I use it because I have it, but you can do without. Here we are. Our tomato has been well cooked. At this point, if you taste it, you will notice that there's no sour taste. Next, you put in your egusi. The quantity of the egusi is based on the quantity of the bitter leaf you will be cooking. So sometimes, some people might like a lot of egusi and some people might prefer less. I'll put in the water for my meat first before I add any additional water. At this point, you should lay back from the maggi and salt, because since the meat has already been pre-boiled with some maggi and salt, when you put the meat, then you can taste it to know if it needs any additional. So I will let my egusi cook for another 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. I will be back. You have to be sure the egusi is in low heat and stir frequently, because it can easily get burnt. The next thing to add is your meat. I have some red meat, tripe, and smoked fish. And also don't forget the pepper. Don't forget the pepper. I have my pepper whole because of my kids. But once my husband and I get into it, we'll have to dissolve it. The egusi still have time to cook once the bitter leaf has been added. So put your meat, then you start putting your bitter leaf bit by bit. Some African stores carry fresh bitter leaf. I'm not so sure where that comes from, but is actually fresh and some are dry. Whatever you can lay your hands on, that is good. And if you can't too, you can go with some of the North American vegetables like kale and or spinach and stuff, but it won't be the same, but still it's better than nothing. Another thing is, sometimes if you want the bitter leaf not to be so dry, since it's from back home, you can add a little bit of chopped spinach to it to bring out the freshness, some freshness. You stir, put a little bit of water, maybe half a cup, and allow it to cook for another 10 to 15 minutes to make sure the dry bitter leaf becomes to the softer side. Now is the right time to also add your crayfish and any additional salt or maggi that is needed. Stir and cook 10 to 15 minutes. You have to stir constantly because of the egusi. It gets burnt easily and stick underneath the pot. Another thing you can add is, I usually add a little bit of palm oil. Coming from Cameroon, palm oil was always known as our #1 sauce. So I add a little bit to give it that reddish color. And it's really healthy for you to palm oil. If you Google it, the various types of oil, and see where palm oil is, it's around the 3rd or 4th, one of the healthiest oil. You will know that our forefathers were right in most of their choices. So don't let anyone fool you. If you realize it's too dry, you can add more water because it's supposed to be moist, a little bit moist and not too dry. Since some people like eating it with fufu, and why others eat it with something like plantains or yam. So you don't have to make it too dry. As you can see, so if you realize it's too dry, you can add more water accordingly. Here we are. Our bitter leaf and egusi soup has come to a close. Once again, what you need to prepare this delicious soup is bitter leaf itself. If you like, you can add a little bit of chopped spinach. You need egusi. You need your meat. I use striped dried fish and red meat. You need crayfish. You need some fresh tomato, a little bit of onion. You need salt, maggi, and pepper. And you also need some oil to fry the tomato, and it's optional. You can add a little bit of palm oil to add some color to it. Some people prefer eating it with fufu, like my husband. He's from Banyangi. He's Banyangi and he likes to eat it with fufu. I, on the other hand, I like to eat it with plantains or yam. So again, this is bitter leaf egusi soup. Like I said before, whichever way you prefer to eat this sweet bitter leaf egusi soup, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that your tummy will be proud of you. So here we go. Once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a fan. And thank you for being part of Mia's Nation. It's always a pleasure cooking for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, or share. Enjoy the rest of your day and remain blessed.